folks, and welcome back to week 10 of EGFC. I am Waffles for Sid, joined with Ocean once again to bring you all the last match of the evening. Ocean, we're about to go and see University of Colorado go up against UT Arlington. What are your thoughts going in, and what are you expecting to see?
I'm excited. I mean, I hyped this up about 45 minutes ago when we finished our last series.
Right?
I've just realised how pointless that was. Anyways, let's talk about the narrative going into this. Colorado 8-0 this season, unbeaten, perfect record so far. University of Texas Arlington 7-1 record. Their only loss was a 3-2 Map 5 loss to University of Colorado earlier in the season. The stakes are already set for this game, practically.
Yeah, and you know, I'm one to hold a grudge, so I'd be really curious to see what Arlington's mindset is going into this matchup, and honestly, this first map of Lijiang. It's going to be a huge tempo setter for the rest of the series, and as we saw in our previous match, and as I'm sure you saw in the other broadcasts, Lijiang is an aggressive and tempo-oriented type of map.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's going to have a more aggressive tempo to these two teams. I think they're both good teams. I mean, the record explains that. But what I do know is going into Colorado, I look at their team, I see Ruby, she's a very good off-tank. I've seen her not just particularly collegiate events, but other events as well. And Orion as well, who's a very good main support player, I believe, a lot of Lucio, if I remember correctly. So that gives me hope that they could play a really aggressive style and play a good tempo. But we'll wait and see until we actually get into the lobby.
And I covered Arlington's game last week as well, and they did a good job. They ended up winning against Wichita with 3-1, only dropping one map. And I personally have an eye on Super Juice. He was charging.
Did you see that?
You know that isn't the
Huh.
end of
It's just interrupt. Gavin just used Death Blossom.
Did he? Oh.
Okay, so
Interesting.
Gavin just used
So-
Death Blossom and Spawn.
I didn't know that was a small glitch in the corner. Thank you. We heard that there's a glitch you can do that in the corner. Of course, you got to watch this corner here because Julian is on that Pharah, and well, no boops coming out of the gate to open up, but that doesn't mean you don't need to be careful. There's also going to be a ton of damage just berating them from above. Pocket coming through from Colby on top of it to make sure he's staying topped off. Another kill coming through onto the opposing Sombra. So winning that duel themselves, and point unlocked. Gonna go ahead and get capped for Arlington just out of the gates here.
Like, Julian's getting tremendous value on this Pharah already. Of course, you look at Colorado's composition, how do they deal with this Pharah? They just got to play fast. They got to find a target instantly. They have a really good rush composition, also focused on getting good hacks and isolating targets. Those are their win conditions right now. That's what their composition is good at. They've got the players to do it as well, so they've got the heroes, they've got the composition. Can they focus on isolating these targets and killing them fast enough to where Julian on the Pharah for UTA doesn't have an impact?
Gonna be tough to, try and bring less value because Jillian is doing a great job just berating them from above. Damage boost so effective, already taking out the support for Colorado with Yahoo down. Well, Super Juice has just been taken down in kind. It's gonna be Jillian though, sealing the deal with the barrage and forcing Colorado back to spawn.
If there's any like style alterations Colorado could make, I reckon like Ruby could maybe like go up in the air and try and nullify the Pharah while they're rotating. Because and it's just a tremendous distance, or maybe it's a difficult thing because you probably need that diva as well to block all the heals when you're going for a target. Maybe it's a question of isolating a target, making it so that they're nowhere near that Pharah's line of sight. So maybe trying to force a Winston out of position, for example.
EMP is going to clip 3 people from Colorado. Now damage still coming above from Julian once again. Bit of deja vu with the pocket from Colby. Colby goes ahead, pops that Valkyrie on top of it as the damage is still continuing to flood through. Love the bloodthirsty support in the back of it, but University of Colorado almost capped the point, but they didn't win that fight.
if they can get back, they're close to Primal Rage and Self-Destruct, but I think it's a total task to even touch the point right now.
Oh, wow. That was very close indeed. I mean, rockets are getting thrown left and right. There's the barrage coming through from Julian. Does die in the process, but does take down one in the end. Another kill comes through onto Super Juice, but brought back into the fight just as quickly. Death Blossom for Gavin, but he's been antied. Does go ahead, pops it in the back end, gets spooked out of the main area of the point. Right now, Arlington trying to handle Colorado's trickle on to the point, but this Coalescence taking down Soap and pretty much giving Colorado a flip. Oh, a nice boop regardless, even after he was slept.
One cut from Daz as well to kill Bird Boys there. It might make the setup for the next team fight a little bit more difficult for Colorado. They can't really just outspeed on an isolated target instantly. Nice mega health pack as well. Both teams kind of exhausted their ultimates, apart from Daz, who has the EMP. Best ultimate in the game, best ultimate to have for this team fight. Wonder how they're going to use it. I mean, I'd use it proactively early in the team fight before Colorado can get anything online.
Man, I mean, with Yahoo already taken out of the picture too, that's going to be such a difficult battle. Both tanks were clipped by the EMP and hit with an anti. It was game over right there. Arlington knew to put the damage in. Cleanup coming through. Cap's going to roll through for Arlington. And, well, Ocean, it looks like they're going to take this first round here at Lijiang.
Oh. I mean, it's a good stick. It might bring them back into things.
Okay.
Wrecking Ball here. I mean, this is Lijiang Garden. You could still
You're
a lot on this map, but I think it's going to be done. It's a really good hack from Daz. Really difficult battle ahead for University of Colorado.
Yeah, Funkmaster going down still in the process as Arlington knows they need to handle the trickle of Colorado players. The point hasn't actually flipped back in favor of Arlington, so technically Colorado does have possession still, and it is slowly ticking up in their favor. Self-destruct coming through, finds two. That's a big self-destruct from Tiki. Gonna clear a lot of space for Arlington, but still Colorado in possession. They are not giving up this fight, and there it is. 99% now for Arlington. This is the trickle battle of Colorado for real. OT bar almost out of time, but there it is. Another kill, and with Yahoo out, it looks like Arlington managing the ball a bit. Ocean gonna go ahead and take the first map.
We could have predicted that team fight being over ages ago, right? I mean, there's still a chance that Colorado do something here, but this is the thing about Lijiang Garden. This could trickle for an awful long time.
Very true. It's a much shorter distance to close to get to the point itself than other maps as well. Other versions of this Lijiang map.
I mean, can't fault the effort. This is something we got to look into. Colorado's desire to try and get back into this, right? Yeah. On multiple team fights and multiple occasions, Colorado showed a lot of desire there. And that's an important task, an important thing, right? You know, being in the situation where you want to win every point, every team fight, every map. That's an important mindset to have, and is probably why they're 8-0 so far.
You know, I'm concerned and definitely curious how Arlington's going to clean up some of their focus fire. I don't think that they should have had quite that long of a difficulty handling the trickle, and I would love to see some more melting coming through when there are just those 1 or 2 targets left on the point. So, you know, we'll see how it plays out in this next round.
One interesting thing to point out, very similar competition, it's just Zarya versus the Diva, but what I want to hone in on is Dez on the Doomfist versus Cloud on the Cassidy. That's the battle to watch this team fight.
So much damage already being outputted by both teams. Julian and Funkmaster going down, exchanging. A huge punch comes through from Dez, but at the cost of his life. He did take down the support from Colorado, so does put them at a bit of a disadvantage on the resources level.
This fight's going to peter out for a little bit. I don't think Colorado want to take this team fight. They'll have to give up percentage, but now it's go time.
Ooh, there's a lot of charge starting to come through for Tiki here on Arlington. Colby gets the kill onto Funkmaster in the end. A lot of damage from this front line of Arlington. Immo has to be committed though because they fell so low. Tiki taking down regardless of it. Now they are down one of their tanks, so Colorado should try and look to take space and push in here. Pushing into an Ant Matrix is tough business though. They go ahead and TP behind, pop the high noon. 2 people taken down. Colorado Colorado gonna go ahead, clear out Arlington, and take the point in their possession.
Good Deadeye. And what I really like when they use that Deadeye is when you use a Deadeye ultimate, sometimes teams don't really try to set it up at all. You really want to make it a fast-tempo team fight. And I think Bird Boys and the rest of Colorado were able to do that team fight. When they used Deadeye, up the pace, and force cooldowns out of Arlington to make things awkward, and that's why Clyde was able to get so much value with that ultimate.
All right, everyone's through the teleporters and all the walls are up. Dez has already put in so much damage, taking down 2 people regardless. Sound barrier rolled through, but no one stayed alive quite long enough to continue to live against the damage Dez is putting out. Self-destruct does find Super Juice in the end, but Arlington still has the numbers to hold and take the point.
That's really interesting, as it kind of highlighted both Dez and Clyde at the start of this round. That's kind of what you could argue, a fight one off of Clyde and a fight one off of Dez. Both these players seem to be the players to look at for impact in a team fight.
Oh man, I feel so bad for Bird Boys. He did not see that coming, and now Doomfist is, well, pretty much showing us why he is the bane of my existence some days in the backline. Oh.
You don't like Doomfist players, Sid? No?
Ah!
I can really feel the rage in the scream, but also Bird Boy's dying. Anyways, next team point. Colorado, they've exhausted a lot of their resources. They're also down in percentage right now. The important thing to realize is Graviton Surge, Meteor Strike, the Space Jam is online, Eyes on Ruby. Can she nullify or eat this Graviton Surge?
Oh, that's so much pressure. You have to be ready to eat it before it's actually pushed and just anticipate. So, with Dez already taking down Cloud, Arlington is at an advantage. There's a CC off the board, and man, Funkmaster took a direct hit from Dez, once again also losing ground. Grav has caught them on the wall, keeping them from taking any more space. 99% and counting. T-bar is just barely triggered. Shatter on the line. He's gonna wait for someone to roll through a little closer, looking for the damage, but Arlington here holding strong and gonna go ahead and take this first map of Lijiang.
1-0 for Arlington. You get the sense that both these teams are up for this game, right? You do. You get the sense that both these teams really hungry to win this. It seems like a bit of a grudge match, right, Arlington?
Yes.
They're seeking revenge for the last time these two teams played. They're just staying on their record. It's a stand from Colorado. It's 7-1. There's a loss there. And Colorado, they want to keep that unbeaten record, of course, and they're doing it against a team that they have stopped from being unbeaten. And these are 2 very good teams. Both seem up for it. Both look ready to be here, and I love it.
Yes. And, you know, I think, I don't know if Colorado was ready for the fire that they had lit under Arlington in their last match. And, you know, I've talked about this on other streams. It's about how you harness that energy and either grow from it and use it to fuel you to drive yourself and do better, or if you let it, you know, come all down on you and you're just too overloaded with how much pressure it is. No, Arlington has come here to play, and they are showing some pretty strong coordination, and I think they look pretty calm.
I think they look good. I think they look really good. Both of these teams, actually. I think UTI, you know, they're looking for revenge, but they seem to be doing it logically. They seem to be matching, you know, Colorado, right? We're going to see Dez versus Clyde. Dez, I think, did get more value on that Doomfist. I thought played really well. Right. I feel that, you know, they're kind of just matching Colorado player for player, respect for respect, and it's a good attitude to have for UTI. One thing I want to hone in on is both these two teams, very good teams, right? We can see that off of that first map. And we talked about earlier in the broadcast, we talked about Tennessee, and are Tennessee this caliber of team? Probably not. Ooh. I think off of that match, we can see where the high caliber of the top teams in EGF are, and I think these two teams are there. And this is what other teams need to get, where they need to get to. Like, Marist is another one that is kind of close to the top as well. But this is what teams have to look at. This is the competition you're going up against. Colorado, UTA, they know that they're going up against each other. They know that they are both going to be title contenders at the end of the season. And that's why this game is so fierce and it's so enjoyable to watch.
Absolutely. And, you know, we saw Tennessee able to handle some of the ultimate combinations or the win conditions, but we see multiple win conditions being used in these fights between these two teams. So it's going to be more about the long term and the follow-up. And this is really, to me, setting them apart from what we saw earlier, is the fact that, yeah, they're handling, like I said, multiple win conditions on the push. And that's how you're going to really show that you have the fundamentals and that you are mentally staying calm enough to handle it.
Interesting here is also both of these teams are running pretty good competitions. So, you know, competition that I would expect to see in top OD, maybe even higher, right? That sort of thing, right? But they also seem to have slight adaptations from those competitions. For example, I wouldn't play a Reaper here with Colorado's composition. I'd maybe try Soldier 76 for a little bit more, you know, healing potential in certain brawl areas. You can maybe control mini health pack, and maybe you can play May, a more standard pick. There's a couple of other things. Tracer as well, in case you're against the forward competition, like they are playing right now. I think a Tracer instead of Gavin, it's Reaper right now would be better for University of Colorado. Or not, yeah, University of Colorado, as they look to play a faster tempo.
Moving around to the side here with Dez, obviously cloaked up, so going to be providing a lot of valuable scouting information on where Colorado is set up currently. And, well, Arlington knows they want to aggress on people who are left alone. Cloud kind of looked like he was. You saw the jump attempt towards him, but he was able to regroup very easily with his team back to safety. Tiki does go down in this process, and oh, Dez almost goes down, does manage to win the DPS duel, and gets the hack on the small health pack back there.
Ooh, good team fight so far. Ruby's got 3 final blows right now. Ruby's doing a great job of isolating targets. Not only isolating them, but picking them off as well. One thing to note though is, yeah, still look comfortable on this team fight. They still like, you know, they want to get involved here. Julian looks hungry at that barrage, and I think that's gonna be either their opener or their win condition in the next team fight. I think it's based on the original engage from South.
Oh man, this is nasty! Wow, literally a barrage from arm's length away from Julian there. The Yahoo just took it straight to the face, and well, now all they have to do is hold strong as Arlington, Arlington needs to regroup, and Colorado pushes back onto the point. 3-man EMP Ocean, that's going to be a huge wrench in the chain for Colorado as Arlington continues to cap this point. They've almost got 3 ticks here. Colorado has to do something to push onto this point and contest. Bird Boys with the sound barrier, saving everyone on Colorado, giving them a chance to really contest just before this 3rd tick is taken. Another kill, this time coming through for Colorado. Cloud is popping off, and Ocean, I think that was a close hold right there for that point.
Clyde is nuts. Like, genuinely love that from Clyde. Good kills at the end of the fight. Julian forced top off the far, I think, right time. I feel like Colorado, they're playing better against the far now than they were on Garden. Also a lot less natural cover to play around. They're playing faster, they're playing more active, they're focusing on isolating players down. I think Ruby's done a great job of that this round. But so has Dez on U10. Now on the May, different type of isolation. Let's see if Dez can continue to isolate targets and get value.
Super Juice now on that Baptiste as well, pushing into Colorado, forced to use the immo, but there's immos all around. Death Blossom from Gavin is going to be what shreds them in the end, but there's still a couple of exchanges, and Arlington does have the spawn advantage.
Alright, gets a nice... that's crucial as well.
Yeah,
Tiki has to go and change, right? There's nowhere to jump off the map here, nowhere to really reset, so Tiki's going to have to walk into small and change here and go back to Diva, otherwise they're starting with no mech, and it looks like they're just going to make that call. No mech for the team at the start of this fight.
Still probably trying. Oh man, and a tough consequence to pay. Very squishy and taken out very early in this fight. They are down Super Juice on top of it with 44 seconds left. Ocean, they have got to. Yeah, it's a good thing they died. They're going to regroup.
I think that's a big mistake because you have to know that there was that matrix online that team fight. You know that I haven't really seen evidence of ult tracking there. Tiki needed to swap and get that defense matrix into that team fight. That was a mistake, and it could cost them in this series. Now they only have 1 team fight left on Hollywood to come back in here. They've only got 1 ultimate in the Deadeye, maybe an amp matrix, but Cloud's got them matched.
Waiting for the Deadeye. No victims this time around, and oh, Cloud's die! Shut down by an icicle from Dez right away. That's a huge opening play as Arlington now has a lot of space. Blizzard online is freezing everybody up. Sound barrier has come through for Colorado, but it's not going to be enough. Arlington has the damage. Earth Shatter thrown down. Colorado is out of here on the point, and that is a cap for Arlington, literally by the skin of their teeth there at the end.
Oh my word. Dez has been awesome in this series
Yeah,
so far.
yes.
Like so much value on Somber while I think targets, Doomfist just getting over opaque potential, and that shot onto Cloud I think secures point A for University of Texas Arlington and puts him in a good position ult economy wise, right? You know, you got Sound Barrier, that's a good response to both the ultimates that Colorado have. It's just that matrix. How are we going to deal with that?
Death Blossom behind the lines, and well, the resources are there to keep most people alive from it. There's follow-up damage coming through, and I like the aggression Colorado is bringing, knowing they were all so low.
I like from Colorado and Arlington so far is the ability to play multiple tempos, but the team doesn't really lack any identity either. Both these teams like to isolate a target, get a kill, and they can play different tempos. They can play a faster tempo, a slower tempo, but the main focus is isolating and killing, and that's a level of play and an identity that you'll see from a lot of high-tier teams in Overwatch.
I like this giving of space and backing off during this Ant Matrix. No one wants to get caught by the extra damage coming through, especially a Fire Strike when they round that corner. And well, High Noon has been popped. Julian is slammed. I don't know what happened. I thought the shield was up, but does manage to break through in the end. Arlington sound barriers popped, and Colby goes down regardless. Not quite enough there for him. An eat of Dez's Blizzard, absolutely massive, coming through from Ruby, although it's not going to be enough. Arlington still has so many bodies on this point, and they do have the spawn advantage, Ocean. They are handling Colorado, and they're going to have to regroup.
Dez's Blizzard doesn't really matter that time. Lots of ultimates traded in that team fight between the two teams. Who's come off the batter going into this next team fight? Probably last fight territory here on point B, or last fight potential scenario if UTA doesn't win this team fight. Death Blossom potentially online. Cloud's got the Deadeye. I wonder if they're going to use Cloud's Deadeye, try and speed up the pace of the team fight, maybe pressure Tiki's Matrix, or even demec Tiki, and then it's up to Gavin.
Oh, wow, I can't believe he actually found Soap there on the High Noon, Ocean. He's still free firing, killing Colby in the middle of his jump. Another one in his pocket. There's the hat trick going for more. Death Blossom to celebrate here at the end for Colorado, and holding Arlington here just before the second checkpoint.
I mean, I got that right, yeah. I used the Deadeye to open up the fight, but I did not think it was fine to kill. How that caught Soap, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was a mistake or it was a drop down from the high ground that caused it. I think we're gonna potentially get a replay. But, oh, we just missed it on the replay. I really wanted to see Soap went on. But good round for Colorado. A good recovery from where they were good. You know, they matched Arlington. It's just these little battles of isolation. Like the players to kind of highlight in that are, I feel, Ruby on Colorado and Dez on UTA. And that's weird because they're on different roles completely. We watched kind of Dez versus Cloud on Legion, right? You know, just who could get more value on DPS. But watching these both of these teams play styles and how they isolate targets, they take them down, and how, you know, multiple win conditions in a team fight. You know, sometimes it's kill a certain target, right? And sometimes it's use an ultimate proactively. Sometimes it's ultimate proactively so this other ultimate gets more value. But what's key in both of these teams' playstyles is they rely on a specific player to do a certain job of isolation, or get a target in a certain position, now I can kill them, or just take a target out of the fight completely. Dez is doing that, and Ruby's doing that. One's a flex DPS, one's an off-type, but both are doing it so well, and both teams are relying on those players to do that. I feel like there's a direct correlation to where Dez is getting value and UTA is winning fights, and when Ruby's getting value and Colorado is winning fights. So just watch those two players, not just in Hollywood, but for the rest of the series.
I'd be curious to hear their mindset notes compared as well, and their approaches to how they provide that type of support and what they're looking for. Bet you they're not too far off, and neither is Gavin. Not sneaky! Found out right away. Julian fans the hand, well, flashes him and takes him down just as quickly. Colorado's trying to push up this small hallway, but they're going to have a rough time. Both Reinhardts are getting aggressive, swinging away. The wall isolates him even more, and well, that is Arlington with a first point hold, but the point's being capped. Do they know? Okay.
Yeah. See a little bit more in terms of other players getting involved and trying to displace targets and making Ruby and Dez's jobs easier. Like the two Lucios here, both very similar on ult charge, maybe going for more displacement boobs, making it easier for the Reinhardts as well. One thing to focus on as well, so 97 on the Earth Shatter, has it for this next team, but I don't think Funkmaster will have that option available.
I like the wall here. No, not going up the stairs to Colorado. Take a little more time. Oh, straight into an Ant Matrix. So you're either going to walk through the Ant Matrix or, yes, give room, avoid all the extra damage. Going around the far side here, Colorado goes for a different source of an attack. They throw their own Ant Matrix and, well, nothing found here from Julian's High Noon. Ultimates left and right, both Blizzard and Earthshatter thrown, and that's going to be enough to seal the deal for Arlington.
It's a good team fight for Arlington because it took so long and they won the team fight. There's only 2 minutes on the clock, really, for Colorado for this next fight. But was that team point worth it in terms of economy? They used the Deadeye, I believe, as well as the Blizzard.
And the Shatter.
As well. And Shatter. So there's 4 ultimates. Yes, they'll probably have 3 or 4 in this next team fight as well, but Colorado probably... The Deadeye's already built up, right, for Julian. I mean,
we won't even count Julian then.
But I'm glad at the start of the team fight's going to have Deadeye. I don't know if Julian will, but I think that's an interesting thing to look at.
Okay, I love it. Everyone skirts away from the Deadeye. It's nice to see the line of sight things being easily avoided, or at least it seems easily avoided by them. Arlington's with the sound barrier, and Colorado follows suit with a lot of people beefed up. Colorado coming out on top in the kill feed and getting one after another as Gavin got so aggressive, especially off the tail end of that sound barrier. Everyone knows they can take a lot more damage coming through, and it's going to be their point to cap.
Actually was the ultimate economy in the previous fight, because we saw Colorado were able to get so much space off their Deadeye actually being online, whereas Julian had to kind of wait before they could use it. And Deadeye at the start of the fight is so much more valuable than mid-fight. The reason being, right, yeah, you might get kills with mid-fight Deadeye, but Jedi's really good at zoning out cooldowns and taking space. That's its main beneficiary. That's why it's so good with Blizzard.
Stunned out of the Death Blossom. Gavin does pay for a little bit of over-aggression. Soap goes ahead and gets that kill, and everyone on the bridge is dropped, but the damage is not there to follow up. Arlington stands back up and decides to get aggressive, take a bit of revenge, and now they have the point, and Ruby living the life of a diva and all of their woes.
That was an upsetting spaghetti moment, right? But that's a really good team fight for UTA, right?
Yes.
Master using the Earth Shatter, Gavin using the Death Blossom, no value for either of those ultimates. Look at the ultimates for UTA. They've got a Deadeye and the Blizzard combination. Deadeye, of course, gets cooldowns, so it makes the team fight fast, and then Blizzard, all of a sudden, as the team fight gets slower, Blizzard's a really good ultimate. So lots of options for UTA in this next team fight, but Colorado somehow completed a switcheroo here and have now rotated completely behind Arlington.
Gavin taken down from that High Noon, as, like you mentioned, it looks like the teams did a little bit of a side switcheroo. Colorado took a lot of time to move around the side. Actually, it's not that much because they have the Lucio, but they did move all the way around, and now they're kind of in a different position where Arlington is using that small room to take cover. Gavin respawns, clips him in the back, forces out sound barrier from Colby on top of it. Blizzard is thrown from Arlington to try and keep space, but nobody's looking at Gavin. This is terrible. You have to look at a Reaper because he will just free fire and continue to heal.
You know, actually looking at the value Gavin got in that team, it's so weird that it ended up being a benefit that Gavin died earlier, just ended up forming the technical backline of UTA. Like, unfortunate for UTA, but nice coincidence for University of Colorado. I'm definitely sure that wasn't planned. At metrics for UTA, they're going to need it to get into the team fight, because that's going to be the most awkward part of this next transition, as Colorado looks to set up their ultimates, including Gavin's Death Blossom. Did work in the last fight. Can they do it again this time? Potentially take Hollywood.
Gavin's already taken down though, and Immo has to be committed for Arlington already. So they don't quite have that safety net as Colorado's going to continue to free fire. High Noon blocked by the shield and through the Ant Matrix, still doesn't find the kills he's looking for. Arlington pops their own High Noon in response. Same result as the other. Shatters come through. 3 people on the ground from Arlington. 2 kills come through for Colorado. There is still a scrappy fight back and forth, but Cloud is trying to put the nail in the coffin. There it is. DPS coming in strong, and that's going to be Colorado making this an exciting series.
I mean, I didn't think they were going to win that team fight, Colorado. I really did it quite. Awesome 3 kills at the end. One thing that, you know, I feel that Colorado has that UTA doesn't is, you know, we talked about Dez a lot for UTA, but it's not, Dez isn't really that player who's going to clutch up and get those kills, right? That's not what Dez does. Right. Dez has a much more team-oriented DPS style, kind of like Ruby has a more team-oriented EVA style. But what Colorado has in Clyde is just a player who could get kills, who can clutch up in fights, and, you know, sometimes they don't even have to be that good the rest of the game, but they have the ability to clutch, they have the clutch factor, and that's what won them that team fight. I'm not sure if it would have mattered in the whole scale of the map. There was still lots of time for Colorado, but I don't really want to know what would have happened. All I want to focus on is the clutch factor of Clyde and how it's took them to get a map of Hollywood.
And that clutch factor is not always something that is coachable or a skill that you can improve on either. That's definitely something that comes with the you know, experience of having that pressure constantly and how you personally handle taking on that pressure. It's Overwatch as well, so as soon as a team just gets a tiny bit complacent or someone's a little too far forward out of place, you could potentially lose the whole point right in OT, right? We've seen it tons of times. I'm sure you guys all have it in your games too. So, you know, can Cloud, once again, the consistency is what's going to bring them to that level and establish if they're that high tier. Is Cloud consistently that clutch? Because at that point, is it clutch or is it consistency and just normal gameplay?
I like that, because clutch and consistency, you know, it sounds like a game show. I like the way the cast sound in there is really good as well. So I enjoy listening to that, and I definitely agree. I haven't seen enough of Clyde or enough in this series to suggest that Clyde is just the best hit scanner DPS player here in terms of getting kills or eliminations. But what I have seen is when Colorado needs Clyde to win them a team fight, Clyde's done so.
Absolutely. And, you know, stepping up to the plate, well, are they going to continue, or will Arlington return fire once again after suffering just 1 map loss to their current, you know, blemish on their record? We'll be back at Volskaya here in just a minute, folks, so we'll see you on the other side. Hi, folks, and welcome back to week 10. We are in the middle of quite the match of University of Colorado going up against UT Arlington. We're now at 1-1, and we've got a competition, Ocean.
Excited. I mean, like, you can kind of, I think, smell. You can smell. You can take. All of the senses are coming to me on how much this means to both of these teams, right? We talked about it. UTA, their only loss, the stain on their record, is from University of Colorado back in week 7, I believe. Ooh. Colorado hitting those so far, and we're in a bit of a deja vu situation here. Going into Volskaya map 3, the last time these two teams played, going into map 3, it was 1-1. Going into Volskaya Industries, and Colorado took it that time around.
Well, is this going to be a repeat of history? Arlington's here to tell us.
This is a really interesting setup.
Waiting patiently. Okay, finally time to jump the corner here, see what's going on.
What's the time to go?
No one was there. Which probably was a big surprise for them as well. Going ahead, backing off, giving space at the choke, which is a more normal engagement area we see. Colorado pushing forward here, and they have been isolated a little bit. Thankfully, super jump from Yahoo does allow him to be able to keep healing his teammates and jump over some of the obstacles. Some DPS have been traded for both teams, but no one wants to give up this fight quite yet. Colorado knows they have spawn advantage, and now there have been 2 Reinhardts taken down. Both baby divas are duking it out. Ruby comes out on top with her duel, but Cloud loses his to his counterpart. Julian now taking control of the fight, does go ahead and get the kill, but it is still anyone's game. The supports are coming up bloodthirsty now, Ocean, and with the spawn advantage for Colorado, I think they're going to go ahead and just take this point.
You know what was critical in that team fight? We talked about how on Hollywood, how Arlington, their isolation playstyle kind of revolves around Dez, and Colorado, their isolation playstyle revolves around Ruby. Dez going down early was really bad for Arlington, because you saw Ruby able to isolate Soap, and that's how that team fight really went open for Colorado. And now they've got options again because they have the Deadeye to try and get them into this next team fight, and the Matrix as well. The start of this team fight looks good for Colorado, but they'll have to back off for now.
Yeah, you need some healing, Cloud, as you cower behind the boxes, my friend. He still has High Noon on board, but it is Colorado trying to give space and regroup a bit. They almost got isolated off from that wall from Dez, but everyone making it out for the most part. Oh, and Immo committed pretty early in that fight, Ocean.
I mean, yeah, they didn't need to. Now it's go time. It's go time for Colorado.
High Noon channeled, no kills found off the end. Blizzard getting thrown also on the point. There are ultimates left and right, Ocean. Diva Bomb's gonna be the one that shines the brightest though, picking up 2 kills on to Arlington. Colorado now has 1 tick in their possession and are hunting down the stragglers and trying to handle the trickle of Arlington coming on to the point. Arlington knows they need to stay on the point, and they've gotta extend this time as long as they can and try to, well, burn any of this clock down. There's still 4:20 left, and Colorado trying to continue to... Oh, they're gonna reset. Okay, they've called it.
I mean, I think that the reset was the right call. That fight was lost, but why did it get to that situation? I don't think UTI really did anything, that special. Colorado should have been ready for that raid contest. Should have been better with that raid contest and how they were dealing with it. But on to the next fight, onwards for both of these teams, and ultimates are relatively even going into this next team fight. No real win conditions for UTI. Defensive ultimate in Soundbar, but there is a win condition for Colorado, and it's Gavin again with the Death Blossom.
Man, this Ant Matrix is getting a lot of value too. Just a lot of free fire coming through on this high ground, and not very much pressure being put on it.
I think they're gonna chase up these kills. I think it's a good decision because they need some ult charge back. They're kind of behind in ultimate economy. If they don't chase up these kills, they've got the kills. Good for UTI.
I'm surprised Funkmaster devoted that Earth Shatter on the side as well. He does go down in the end, and Colorado, they need to do a full, real regroup in safety.
Yeah, that was really weird because we knew that Colorado were soft resetting there, and UTI knew it as well, and then they were like, do we go for them here? Do we chase them out? And they just waited. And then they eventually went, and they've profited massively off of it, because now the ultimate economy is going into this team fight very even. It's kind of a neutral matchup going to this next team fight, but who's going to step up for both of these teams? Eyes on Ruby, eyes on Dez. They've been the players to make the difference for both of these teams so far. They've been isolating opposition players, making the team fights easier for their teams. Eyes on both of them.
At Matrix in favor of Arlington for their high noon, but Colorado goes ahead and launches their sound barrier in response. There is another one from Arlington, but it is the Death Blossom in the back that does get stunned out. Man, that is tough coming through as Colorado continues to push on the point. Now they have the numbers as Julian is trying to make some magic work here on the Cassidy on the side, but there's so much pressure coming through. He's got a Deadeye, does get taken down by Ruby in the Baby Diva form. She's looking to remech, doesn't quite find the crush she's looking for, but no worries there. Still plenty of zoning going on. Look at the space she's taking. More damage coming through. I like that Gavin switched onto this Doomfist back so quickly to provide that support. Arlington still trickling on to this point, burning the clock now at 1:38, but Colorado looking like they're handling this trickling much better than last time, and there it is. Now taking their second point with still 1:34 on the clock.
I actually want to know between the different styles of these teams play, both very isolation based, focus on getting a target out of position and focusing down that target. Not even just finding a target out of position, but forcing a player out of position and then taking down that target. We talked about how Dez and Ruby are the important benefactors of this. They are the main people who are forcing players out of position. What's really interesting to me is when Dez, when it pulls off for Dez, it looks absolutely amazing because they're DPS player. It's a little bit more effective. It's a little bit more high risk, high reward. But when Ruby does it, you've got mech. You can remech later on. You get caught out. You're a tyke. You get the potential to survive, that sort of thing, right? Because you've got that extra defensive utility.
Right.
It seems like a high risk, high reward thing. So that's why, for example, when it goes wrong for UTA, it looks pretty bad. Whereas when it goes wrong for Colorado, you've kind of got that backup strat of, we've got the rest of our team here and we can keep Ruby alive, right? But when Dez gets caught out trying to isolate a target too much or going for those riskier plays, then they're probably dead.
Yeah. And they're not going to be the ones to receive the resources either, because it's your tanks that are able to really take and hold the space. Welcome to tanks, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's just an interesting mix of play styles. There's no one better than the other, but it's just that it's riskier when you have Dez being the player making those isolations. However, high risk, high reward, I think is kind of why Dez is that main player there.
Moving around fast here, Arlington already aggressing on to the first checkpoint. Speed boost or amp coming up from Bird Boy to try and keep his team healed up in the process. Over the top, Ruby is putting the pepper damage in, gets the D-mech on Tiki in response, and Colorado holding the choke strong, and oh man, Tiki now on the receiving end of the unfortunate Diva Stagger.
Well, it seems Ruby is currently out of mech, and I think UTI's respawns are slightly closer. I think UTI, they sensed an opportunity to go in here. This is a slightly weaker Colorado. It might be go time here. They're close to the Deadeye as well.
Oh, is he going to move around to the side? Okay, looking for this Deadeye. No, he's looking for someone for the person running back from spawn. Dez is getting aggressive here on this front line, and well, there it is. The engagement through the Ant Matrix as well. Doesn't quite matter though, as Colorado continuing to have to give space because Arlington is taking so much damage. They finally pop their own Ant Matrix, but Ocean, I think that's for intimidation because Colorado is not moving on very quickly. Move around to the other side. Yeah, you want to skirt that damage, but it's going to be a little too late.
I mean, we also see the high reward there of Dez's wall right at the start. You get Yahoo instantly out of the fight. The Baptista's gone. Now we move on to the next team fight. Dez is the player to highlight again. Got the Blizzard. Only real win condition I see for UTI. How are they going to set him up for it? And if it goes wrong, they're in trouble. Because Ruby's got a defense matrix. Cloud's got a Deadeye.
Blizzard comes through. Funkmaster first person frozen up, and there's the shatter getting 3 people. Arlington's reinforced with their sound barrier, and they are aggressive, swinging away. They know they can handle Colorado when they're reinforced like this, and now it is about handling the stragglers and the trickle coming through. Diva Bomb going off here for Colorado, and they all get caught by the shatter of Funkmaster walking back onto the point. Soap tries to do his best. Reinhardt stun each other out, but it is still a slugfest either way. University of Colorado still trying to trickle on and stall this point out as long as they can, but Arlington managed to find a couple of picks in the process. Now it's looking hairy for them as Gavin is going strong here on this Reaper and still managed to keep his death blossom.
Important moment in this series. That should have been Arlington's fight.
Yeah.
Good play from Gavin off of the respawn. Good stand from Funkmaster as well. But I think the important thing to talk about there is Colorado. That's the second time in this entire series where we've seen Colorado in a fight that they desperately should lose come back to win it. There's also a moment on Leishon Garden, if you remember. They were behind in the fight for a long time. Here comes Gavin.
Oh, he was spotted pretty quickly though by Julian when he TP'd over there. Doesn't quite find any of the kills in the Death Blossom, but it is still Colorado taking the kill feed as they continue to handle Arlington pushing on to this point. Man, Ocean, it might be a case of deja vu if Arlington does not kick it into gear.
Yeah, I mean, Arlington, I don't think they're doing much wrong. I think it's clutch factor mode, right, for Colorado, right? We saw, I was kind of leading into it, we saw a good desire from them on Leishon Garden. We saw the actual clutch factor on Hollywood towards the end of the map.
Right.
We saw it there a couple fights ago. I'm not wondering if that's going to be a repeat action in this series where Arlington does everything right. It's just the desire of Colorado to stay unbeaten that keeps them in check.
Yeah, it is going to come down to some of this last bit of fighting here. Earth Shatter comes through, does manage to catch a couple people, and sound barriers are launched from Colorado. They're trying to keep everyone alive, and there it is, Funkmaster reaping the benefits. DPS coming up strong as they continue to aggress forward. Ruby chases out that last kill.
Very good, aggressive team fight. Not many ultimates used. Still good economy here for Colorado in a really good spot. Next team fight. What's going to happen here? What are the key battles to look for? Well, UTA, they have a big advantage in terms of sound barrier here. They could get really aggressive. Maybe amp speed Deadeye, and then they're in the team fight with a sound barrier. Self-destruct can also give them a lot of space. I think they have to go aggressive in this next team fight. And it's going to be about how players like Cloud and Yahoo respond to that. They've got ultimates to deal with that aggression.
High Noon being channeled, both teams using them at the same time and both striking out. Those were a lot of bullets fired from Cloud though. Ant Matrix is across the board, and now it's sound barrier being launched by Ruby straight into the heart of the back. Tiki goes down in the process, launching their own as well, and now Blizzard has been thrown. Stun comes through as Ruby's trying to escape that Blizzard, and so much damage is coming out. 2 stunned Reinhardt's on the point once again. Great reactions coming through from them, but Arlington now having that advantage. Of course, Colorado does have the spawn advantage, and they are still continuing to trickle and stall this point out. It has not been capped past 2 ticks yet, but it is looking dicey for Colorado. Now, High Noon being channeled here on the side and knocked off the edge. Game over right there for Cloud until he's back from spawn. Dez coming in hot on this Doomfist, just absolutely displacing everyone left and right. They're not ready for this amount of huge burst potential damage, and he is absolutely on fire this evening with Doomfist. Ocean.
I mean, that's such an important kill onto Clyde, because Clyde had just got a kill back in the previous engagement. Julian matching back. I think this is going to go the way of UTA, however, it's looking a little bit dicey. Some of the members of UTA have just fallen.
Oh man, and a sound barrier now a little bit after Arlington's. This one for Bird Boys here on Colorado, and now Colorado does have a little bit of a longevity they can work with. Still missing 1 tick on the objective, and that's going to be quite the hold with only 36 seconds left.
They had no right to win that fight. They had no right to win that fight. I have no clue how that happened, genuinely. That should be UTA's fight. We're going into extra rounds on Raw Sky, but we're not. And why are we not going to extra time? It's clutch factor of Colorado. It's multiple players now stepping up, not just Clyde. But I think Clyde did have the important kill in that. And it was I think it was a flash fan in the corner on their opposite number in Julian that really opened that team fight up. And now it's desperation time for Arlington as they need to get back into this Full Sky Industries map.
A lot of ultimates are getting popped. Death Blossom here on this side as well. Already took down 2 people in the process as Gavin's going to look to just throw the damage into his opponent. Dez here in this Meteor Strike 5 form takes Ruby out on the crushing there as she's trying to remech, and now Dez still holding this point. Poor Funkmaster all alone trying to do his best to stall, and it's just Cloud now making the magic happen. Taken down by Dez, his counterpart Doomfist, and that's Arlington taking the second round. Capturing the second point.
Wow. I mean, that's so important. I mean, when it came to desperation time, that time, it was UTA's time to clutch up and make sure that they haven't lost Volskaya. However, it's not secured yet. Colorado will have 1 minute and 34 seconds to get 1 tick. Volskaya Industries point A to move 1 point away from winning this series. Oh, there is tension right now between these two teams. They faced each other early in the season. Oh. They're close together in terms of quality, in terms of the standings. Oh, I'm nervous for this game.
You know, we keep talking about the clutch factor, and when I was going through school and playing water polo, my dad was always talking about the clutch factor, and the mindset that I grew up with and always took around clutch factor was there's always more in the tank, right? Always more you can give, always harder you can push, and always ways and things you can do to make yourself push your own limit. You've always got more to give when the time needs it. And right now, I'm seeing a lot of that.
You know what I'm also seeing? I'm seeing a mindset from all of these players. I want to win. You know what I mean? Some games, you don't see that. You know, we're here to play, but these players want to win. Right. And that's an incredibly different mindset.
And right now it is Colorado here. They only have to get 1 tick to take this map and repeat history for themselves. They are continuing to aggress forward here, and they've already taken down 2 people. That's absolutely massive. We know the effect it has when those DPS are out of the picture, and looks like Colorado's going to take a swift attack here and go ahead and cap the first tick and take the map.
Looks like history has repeated itself, Sid. And that's important for a couple of reasons. One, Colorado the one map away from winning the series and keeping their unbeaten record. Right. But for UTAN, it's also a big mental blow, isn't it? Because we've been here before. We were at a 1-1 series in Volskaya Industries a matter of weeks ago in this EGFC season. And Colorado won on Volskaya previously, and now UTAN, they have to kind of think about that. They're going to have to think about how do we come back in this series, and some of them might be kind of migrating to the fact that they kind of lost previously.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about Arlington, only because it seems like they brought a lot of passion and I don't want to say they held a grudge, but I feel that's how I would feel. I'm like, no, we lost to you this last time. We just barely missed it on this last Volskaya map, okay? They went toe-to-toe. They had a lot of solid fundamentals and gameplay. It is about kind of outmaneuvering and bringing out your own clutch factor. And I think that they should be really pumped going into the next match because that was close. And if Colorado gets complacent, you know what happens in Overwatch. On a dime, you can lose it.
I mean, there's also the alternative. They lost the last series, 3-2. You know, if history is going to repeat itself, they'll win the next map, and then it's map 5, anything can happen, right? There's different ways to take this, but it's a note because some players could get defeated by that sort of scenario because it is a kind of repeat. Also, Colorado, I think, have been good this series. I think they've kind of grown into it. I think both Daz and Ruby. I mean, I've talked about them so much, but they've been brilliant, haven't they? I mean, Daz and that last team fight for UTA as well, showing a bit of back here. But those 2 players are pivotal to how these 2 teams play, right? And it's so evident to see that. And when I watch UGF, I never really get to see players like that, but people talk about them, behind the scenes, watch for Ruby on Colorado. She's a good player. She's great at Diva. She's good, and she stands out because she's the pivotal point in this Colorado team. Daz is a pivotal point in this UTA team, and it really does affect both of these teams when those players go down early.
And we have seen how quickly it affects the rest of their team when they go down. It is a very obvious domino effect, and you know, I wonder what they do on the back end too, as far as comms and what type of you know, culture element they bring to the table for the team, and how they keep everyone maybe level-headed or still hyped up, right? If you're the person popping off clutch-wise, maybe that's how you're helping feed your team to stay that hype level. So we'll have to see, is the clutch consistent or not here on Route 66, right, Ocean?
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Just to add on to that point, it's also a reliance or a trust aspect, I think. When you have a player like Daz or Ruby, you know, you trust that they're going to do their job. You trust they're going to give you opportunities to isolate targets and kill targets in this game. You trust they are going to give you an opportunity to win every single game in EGF, and I think that's important. When you have that trust in a player to make a play or to have an impact, it's definitely telling. One thing that's also interesting for Colorado is that they're running a lot more Reinhardt. Only Reinhardt. And that's a concern that I want to note right now. The reason is because UTA, on their defense, running some Winston. In my personal opinion, a lot of Western Overwatch fans will disagree with me, that Winston is excellent into Reinhardt. You know your distances and you play your cleave properly. Winston is awesome into Reinhardt, and if you play around high grounds correctly, this is a pretty unfavorable matchup for Colorado, playing against this Winston. And this could be a secondary narrative going into the rest of this series. If UTA finds joy with this double bubble composition against Colorado on the Rhine comps that they've been very consistent on or persistent on, that could be something that Colorado has to adjust to in this series, and this might be the turning point that UTA is looking for. This Winston pick, this double bubble composition that they're out here on defense on Route 66.
A lot of berating coming through from Julian, of course, on that Pharah, and Cloud puts him in his place. The ground, oh, just kidding, rezzed back just as quickly, had enough protection there from the rest of his team, so Arlington back at full strength now, and, well, resuming the berating from this pharmacy combo. Ruby is demeched in the process, but she already caught out Dez. Wow, that is the type of chain reaction we were talking about earlier. Now it's time for Colorado to capitalize on their opportunity. Julian falls low, and there he is, taken out once again. 2 DBS running back for Arlington, as Colorado still gonna hold strong. They pop their own Ant Matrix here from the high ground, pinned from quite far away. Tiki taken for a little bit of a ride.
I don't like how UTA were playing that double bubble there, and I'm glad that Julian's off the Pharah, because I feel like they were putting too much on Julian's Pharah, and I don't really think that was ever the right play. You got Ruby on the Diva, Birdboy's on Lucio.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that kind of nullifies Julian's impact. Not takes it away, but nullifies Julian's impact, and I feel like you had to put more into your Winston, try and build up Nano Boost, use Nano Boost and Winston as a potential win con, and stop investing too much into Julian. I think was kind of my idea on that first point. I think they've kind of just handed Colorado that first point, and what could be a turning point with this Winston comp might have slightly gone away.
Oh, boops him over there next to his own Ash there. Now he goes ahead, pops the Primal Rage. Soap trying to make that space and get those kills. Now he pops out of it quickly, and not too much value that he was looking for from the Primal Rage, although he did push a lot of members back. Dez here on the Hanzo, still putting in some damage, but oh, man, that's going to be a Val coming through. Shatter? Arlington all on the ground from that, and now the Dragons are going to tear through and clear him out.
He had no right to go and win that fight. You know, Colorado, I didn't even think they were going to attempt to engage. It's a good kill by Call Me On to Clyde, though. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be time to get players back, because it's going to take a while to get involved. Oh, never mind. It's not going to even matter. Julian's being picked off in the spawn doors.
Oh, that is some rough business, and I mean, I feel bad. It's never fun to get picked off in your own spawn. And right now, Colorado is being so aggressive here, continuing to push forward. Arlington's trying to take some space and push them off this high ground. Does manage to do just that, but they push them off the high ground into their opposing Amp Matrix. And Colorado's now reinforced with a sound barrier. It is tough fighting them right now. Oh my, they got the self-destruct kill on top of it. Holy cow, Colorado's gonna coast this cart forward.
This is not good for UTA. Something looks off. Something looks wrong in this map of Route 66. Colorado are coasting through, and realistically they shouldn't be. They haven't really done anything too special, apart from the Earth Shatter on point B and some direct play on point A. Something seems off with UTA. I don't know if it's mentality or it's not having Dez trying to isolate target, because Dez hasn't been looking for those isolations on point C, but something looks wrong.
A lot of chaos coming through. Colorado still aggressing forward here on this left side. Cart is rolling ever closer to the ending destination. Finally, some big picks coming through from Arlington, and well, it looks like they are going to stabilize just before the third point, but there's still 3:55 on the clock.
Divination going down. I still look at Arlington right now. Something feels amiss. They've got Dragon Strike for this next team fight. They've got an Amp Matrix. Those are good openers. They have to use this as a kind of mental reset. Go back to how they were playing, because realistically, first 3-4 minutes of this map has not been UTA, and Colorado have to identify that. They have to say, we play our game and they're not playing theirs. We're going to take this. They've got their own Dragon Strike as well. So watch both Dragon Strikes in this next team fight.
Engagement coming through on the high ground, and there it is. Dragons exchanged back across both of each other, actually. Amp Matrix now thrown as well for both teams, and they're trying to make as much use of it as they can. Arlington still finding the value they need, and they have driven Colorado back once again, but there's still 3 minutes on the clock. There's a lot of time to burn.
It's more UTA fight, you know what I mean? That gives me confidence that you know, something isn't clicking. It's back to normal. There was a good Dragon Strike from Daz. They moved in on it well. Tiki's gonna get a remake here and gonna have a self-destruct as well. I would like to see an early self-destruct just to force out some cooldowns and try and put the pressure on Colorado.
Man, Funkmaster a little sad after that shatter straight into the shield. High noon from Julian, though, finding some value, and the sound barrier from Colby's going to give everyone on Arlington the confidence they need to just push straight into Colorado and shred them up.
Better. I'm glad, because I was really worried there. I don't know if you can hear the concern in my voice as well for UTA. They're back. It's all good. We're back to this cracking series we've had so far, right?
Yeah.
2 tank ultimates here for UTA. How are they going to use them? I said I wanted an early self-destruct in the last fight. Both self-destructs not online. We kind of talked about the 2 Dragon Strikes a couple of nights ago and what impacts they would have. But it's just no eye on those self-destructs.
Bob does manage to put a nice amount of pressure on, and well, Colorado still flooding the kill feed one after another. Dragons are going to tear through, taking down Funkmaster in the process, but there is a lot of damage and pressure from Colorado. Kills are coming through as Gavin has that Sonic Arrow on lock, trying to take on his Hanzo duel, and well, everyone else seems to be handling the damage, no problem there. Dragons are going to tear through one half, and that's going to be the point pretty much capped here at the last checkpoint. Sound barrier coming through from Bird Boys, and still going to roll forward with 1:21 on the clock.
Good one for Colorado. I feel like UTA, same thing, come back into their own on point C. I thought the first 2 points from UTA was not good. I thought
Let's just gloss over that a little more.
I think I have to, because it's important in this series, because if they play like they normally do on point A and point B, maybe cap an OT, but now it's 1 minute 21 seconds. You know, it's a big difference to me from the first 2 points to the last one. The last one looked more UTA. Colorado, they took advantage though. 1 minute 21 on the clock.
My thoughts when I was watching that first part for Arlington, especially after you called out, they do seem off. Something is wrong. They were thrown off balance for those first 2 points. In my opinion, no questions asked. And these esports players, they they don't have the luxury that normal and traditional sports have of, oh, coach called a timeout in the middle when we have possession and we can all have a reset and get situated or whatever. They have to reset themselves by themselves in the middle of the game. So I'm really pleased with Arlington being able to realign themselves at the end.
It was good, and they were kind of lucky that they won like a pretty good team fight for them, where there was a little bit of a break where they could go, okay, back to usual, gamers, right?
Right.
And that's why the damage done isn't as nearly as bad as it could have been. Now Colorado on their defense, again, more Reinhardt play. Seemingly seems to be what they're going to go for the rest of the series, and you'd say they don't want to go for the Winston, so they're going to just try and match Colorado and what's been going on all series long.
Damage exchange coming through from both teams, just poking at each other away. Big Earl's sign really providing a horde of cover over there for Colorado. Point is rolling around ever closer to the gas station, and Julian's trying to find that off angle and put that pressure on. Stickies are always nasty and cooldown, I mean, obnoxiously fast in my opinion, but still a lot of damage to be done. Dez trying to put the focus fire and, well, add that perimeter damage, and well, Colorado needs to drop down and contest some point ocean. Matrix thrown, and Arlington needs to skirt away from some of this damage, but it is still Colorado pushing forward. A nice fire strike comes through, and I think that's going to seal the deal.
Yeah, this fight's going to be done. Matrix used for both teams. It sees both these teams, you know, kind of on a level footing, right? No one player, no one. I mean, of course, we've talked about Daz and Ruby all game, but no one individual compared to one another. For example, Colby and Bird Boys on the Lucios, right? They look pretty equal. The Reinhardts are pretty equal. It's just about who can get the cutting edge in each team fight. And Colorado seems to be doing that a little bit more often right now.
Engagement started off with Bob, but Dez follows up with two hungry dragons, finding 2 kills in the process. Oh, gets caught out, almost taken down, falls down to 9 health. Now 3 taken down in the end, but the point has been capped.
Yeah, it's been capped. I mean, Dez, you know, Dez has been awesome, yeah, this series, right? I can't speak enough positives. Really good Dragon Strike again. It opens things up for UTA, allows them to get points A. That sounded actually kind of cool, UTA points A. I liked it, sorry. Just wanted to note that. Now in this next team fight, it's going to have to be Julian, the other DPS player for UTA to step. Oh. Well, never mind then. But watch someone else.
Oh, the disappointment in your voice, I can hear it, and oh, Dez is probably feeling it after losing the duel to Gavin as well. Colorado still set up pretty well defensively. Arlington needs to regroup once again. Oh.
No, it's Julian's time. You got the online, goes for the Diva. I'm going to try and build up some self-destructs.
Sound barrier comes out from Arlington as well. Now they're getting aggressive, trying to push into the back of Colorado. There it is, the flux coming through, and Echo duplicate bomb, not finding any kills, but still 2 more kills coming through. Arlington getting the work done that they need to, and that's going to be the point, rolling forward.
Oh, I don't know if you saw that mid.
Now I know what you said. Yeah, definitely took my brain a moment to process what you yelled just now. Yeah, DC is bad.
That's not good. It's not good for Colorado. Oh, it's worst case scenario.
There's a small glimmer of hope, right? Occasionally I have seen someone DC and still come back with their ultimate charge that they had before. I've only seen it once.
I mean, it's not going to happen. Divination is back in the lobby. No ultimate. Unfortunately, they're going to go to the Honor anyway, so at least they get the switch here. Let's get a little reset on that. But I think that kind of takes out the potential of them recontesting here. I mean, I think they're going to give it a go. No. Gavin's gone away from it. I think this is not. Look at 2 minds. Like, that DC seems to have thrown Colorado off.
Arlington still trying to hold this point. They need to push it here to the second checkpoint. They're going to take the high ground and, well, pretty much wait for Colorado to pop out of either the hallways and shoot free fire from this high spot. Oh, Dez! Ouchie.
It was 5. That was insane. Again, good player. Can't speak highly enough. I've spoken too much about Dez. They'll have a Dragon Strike next team fight. Keep an eye on that, especially early on. Ruby going over to Sigma. I think that's going to try and play into Dez now, right? You're going to try and zone out Dez on the Hanzo. Because obviously Dez is going to be playing from further away and you can't really send your diva all the way into the back line.
Right. Dragons are going to tear through here, not finding anything, but it is still Colorado with a lot of kills. They go ahead and commit the Earth Shatter on top of it, and while Arlington's on the ground, they clean him up.
Good team fight for Colorado, good recovery. Obviously an awkward team fight to come back to on point B after the unfortunate disconnect. But they've come back into it well. And I have to, again, talk about the mental strength both of these teams have. This is a tense match for both of these teams, and both have faced really strong mental challenges, and they've dealt with them appropriately.
Cloud was stunned out of his ultimate pretty much instantly, and now Gavin is diving in the back. Doesn't find any kills taken down right away, but there's still been a couple of exchanges. Now he's Dez here on the Doomfist, looking for the value, taken down as Colorado manages to hold strong, regardless of the shaky opening.
Rubio up to that gravitic flux. Tiki will probably have the same, but a little later in the team fight. I think Rubio actually have it in time to use it early in the team fight. Proactive ultimate, proactive flux could be what they needed in this next team fight, considering there's not that many ultimates online right now.
Gravitic Flux online for Ruby. There it is, engagement coming through. There's the Immo though. Immo still in play when Flux lands down on the ground, but a lot of damage has been dealt. There it is, cleanup coming through, and Colorado looking comfortable around this corner.
Good team fight, good execution on the Gravitic Flux. Nothing really to complain about here going into the next team fight. UTA, I think, have the better of the ultimates going into the next team fight. They've got a Deadeye which could set up their Flux, or a Flux that could set up their Deadeye. They've got a lot of options, whereas Funkmaster and Clyde, I don't really think they can do too much with their ultimates, you know, kind of pair and set up for each other in this team fight.
I've missed that jump we just saw Cloud make so many times. Good job there, and High Noon being channeled by Cloud himself, not finding any kills, but Dez on this Doomfist is looking to be deadly once again. Arlington holding a little bit of high ground space here as they pump their own Amp Matrix. A lot of people dropped on the ground from Funkmaster's Shatter, and that's the Nano coming through. He's getting reinforced regardless of the kill coming through. It is still Arlington on the back foot, and having to regroup with only 1:15 left on the clock.
I mean, they've already got less than Colorado's time bank, right? And Colorado look poised in position to potentially win this series right here, right now in Route 66. Again, they're building up their DPS ultimates quickly. They're kind of close to Gravitic Flux. Nothing like too close. And UTI they look at a loss for words. They look at like they have no response. They look drained. I mean, they've got some DPS ultimates here, but oh!
Gorgeous. Coming through, asleep all the way from the back from Divination. Now keeping everyone topped off and probably stressing a bit at the crit Rhine, as most of us do when we're in that position. Gavin just finding a lot of value before going down himself, as Colorado now knows they have the advantage. They can push forward here, popping their own High Noon in the back, and oh, Meteor Strike almost clips Cloud. Doesn't matter, Dez chases him down regardless. Now Arlington is on the back foot as they have to push this cart. There's only 15 seconds left, but Ocean, Colorado has been pushed back a little bit.
It's really on Ruby or Bird Boys now to get Colorado back into this team fight.
Oh, I thought the Flux was going to leave him in the air during the OT trigger. Colorado has gotten a sound barrier, but they were dropped on the ground. Arlington needs to follow up with the damage and push this cart to the end if they want to stay in this series. Huge shatter from Funkmaster once again, catching 3 people on Arlington. There's the damage needed to clean them up, and Colorado, once again, maintaining their perfect record, takes the win.
Gotta fail for UTA right now. 2 losses on the record, both to Colorado, both in extremely close series. And I have to say, in that last team fight, I feel UTA had 2 opportunities to win that last team fight and take us to additional rounds in Route 66. I really do. I feel like Julian's Deadeye was slightly early. They didn't get things going with that. I feel like they could have protected him better as well. And again, once they killed Divination with the nano boost at the end, you saw that that realistically that fight probably wasn't winnable without Divination's Nanobots. They probably should have cleaned it up before they even came back out with and respawned with the Nanobots Ultimate Online. But you live and you learn. Tough loss for UTI to take, but they've taken this
Definitely.
loss before. That was a too soon moment, wasn't it? That was too soon. I'm sorry.
That was awesome. It's true. And, this is where you really do have to learn from your past experiences. And I've been in that place where you lose to the one team over and over, and you have your day at some point, and you have that time where you grow and shine. So we're not going to count Arlington out by any means. We got plenty of season left to go, and obviously these teams were very close throughout the whole series. Arlington had that one little hiccup towards that last map, but overall, it was a good back and forth and some really shining moments for a lot of different players and what they brought to the table.
I think they're both top four, top five teams easily. Both of them in EGF, like 100%. And I you know what? If both of these teams aren't in the top 4, top 8 at the end of the season, I would be tremendously surprised. They are two of the best teams in EGF. They give it their all. Both really determined, desired performances. Really enjoyed it. It's just it's kind of sad that there's a loser.
It's part of the competition, right? And well, if you're betting on them being top 5, you better make your bracket and place your bets, because I would love to see if that actually plays out, or maybe they qualify in top 3 instead. These teams definitely have a lot of room to grow, and we are hopefully going to get to chat with one of the victorious team members from Colorado here in just a moment, folks. So we'll get our interview set up, and we'll be right back. Hi, folks, and welcome back to our last interview of the evening. We have Penguin here with us from University of Colorado, our team that was just victorious. Penguin, congratulations on your win, and thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for inviting me.
So, obviously, that was a pretty close match. There's a lot of back and forth going on. You had some stressful moments that also included a disconnect. What is your feeling and mindset coming off of such an intense series, and what's it like on the team?
I think it's just incredible. It's been a really good season so far. That game especially, again, extremely stressful. We had some tough moments there. The disconnect really freaked everyone out. It was like right after a team fight, so we didn't really know what to do for the regroup. But as for the team as a whole, I mean, I think we're in a really good spot. This was a really impactful game for us. They're a very difficult team. We were playing one of the highest ranking in the league right now, and that was a big stressor for us. But yeah, I don't really know. It's cool.
Did you guys have any specific strategies or mindsets that you brought against UT Arlington, or would you just try to not stress yourself out as much about it?
We talked about this concept a lot throughout the game, and it was this idea of comfort picks. We wanted to play what we felt most comfortable. This game especially, we had 2 substitutions in, me subbing in for DPS, and then Yahoo subbing in for support. And those were really, Yahoo did an incredible job throughout the entire game. But our mindset really was just play characters that we were really comfortable on, something that we know to heart and we can play confidently.
That confidence was apparent in the matches, in our opinion, and you guys had some really exceptional clutch moments as well. What are the comms like during those high intensity moments?
Wild. You just hear a lot of screaming. There's one person out of position, like let's say their Mei walks a little bit too far forward, everyone's just screaming Mei right in there. Let's say Cloud kills 4 of them again, we all start freaking out in chat. Really lively. It's very energetic all the time.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you guys are having a good time in the game and while you're playing it as well. Ocean, what you got for him?
Here we so some more exhilarating questions. This season so far, I think what 9-0? Is it 9 wins, 0
Yes.
losses?
Now
You beat UTA
9-0.
Yeah, you beat UTA twice this season. I think probably UTA also top 5 team. You guys probably top 3 after that win. Like not even just by standings, but guaranteed just based on quality. How do you feel the season's gone so far? Were you expecting to go 9-0? Has the season lived up to expectations?
I've had really strong hopes this entire season. I really love our lineup, and I knew that we'd play well together as just a big team. This is 9-0, is 8-0, it's whatever it is, incredible. It's such a mind-boggling experience to have. We're all performing so well as a team and a group, and it's been so incredible. I love our picks. I love everyone on our team. It's been really good.
Okay, and let's quickly talk about the series before we talk about your end of season goals. This series against UTA, it was very intense. Last time you played them, map 5. UTA's opponent, very, very, very difficult. Does it feel better, when you beat UTA, that you've kind of pushed them another loss down, pushed them a peg down? Does it feel sweeter beating a team like UTA?
Feels absolutely incredible. We knew going into this that they'd be a very, very difficult team to beat. They're, again, one of the best in the league. If not, I guess, but one of the best in the league, and I guess I can't say that. Anyway,
Nice.
Beating them though, it feels super, super exhilarating. Just the adrenaline rush of knowing that you're playing against a very high level team, and being able to work together just to go through that was just incredible.
Awesome, glad to hear. And where do you think Colorado is this season in EGF, and also what are the goals for Colorado as a whole? As an Overwatch program, because you were terrific today. Now you probably take the entire EGF championship. What are your goals right now? What is your mindset?
All we're doing right now is really just trying to work out all of the little minute details. We feel like we play really well together as a group as a whole. We just need to figure out all the little stuff. Once that's done, I think we'll be pretty much unstoppable. We've been playing fantastic so far, and if we just keep working on the little things, by far, I think we'll do fantastic as a team. Of course, we want to continue being undefeated. That's always a great goal, but I don't know, wherever it takes us.
All right, last question for
Nice.
you. Is an EGF championship possible for Colorado?
Most definitely. I think it's a really strong possibility. I'm super confident in our team. Love all the members on it. I think we can go really far.
Well, you heard it, folks. Keep your eye on Colorado through the EGF season. Penguin, before I ask you your last question, I gotta ask if we have you on broadcast again, can we get you to play us a jingle or tune in the background?
Oh, most
See those
definitely.
keys?
Anytime. Any request, I got you. Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
All right then. Hopefully we'll see you back here and we'll bring you up on that offer next
Of
time.
course, of course.
Is there anything you want to call out or anyone you want to shout out before we sign off?
Oh, most definitely. Cloud played like a legend. He got picks every single fight, didn't make a mistake, or maybe one mistake even. Didn't matter though, he killed all of them. It was incredible. I want to shout out Cloud all the way. Such a talented player.
Oh, yeah, we saw a lot of that coming through, and honestly, many of you all performed very, very well. Saw a lot of shining fundamentals and people just really bringing their strengths. I think your comfort was really apparent on those picks. And once again, congratulations on your win this evening. Thank you for joining us, and good luck in the rest of your season.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, folks, that was our last interview of the evening. We are going to go ahead and wrap it up. It was wonderful spending time with all of you tonight. Thank you for joining us. And of course, big thanks to EGF, Tyler, who is running EGF, and our awesome producer and your observer for the evening, Aeon. Thank you, my friend. You were fantastic for this entire broadcast, even before myself. And folks, thank you so much for joining us. Ocean, what you want to say?
I mean, I was happy that I went this start, to be honest. Sometimes, we get some stomps in EGF. Sometimes, we don't get to witness the greatest Overwatch play. That was a good game. It was a good solid team. Two teams who came here to win. Two teams that came here to play, and they put on a good show for us.
Couldn't have asked for anything better this evening myself, and honestly, I'm looking forward to what else we see down throughout the rest of the weeks. Lots coming up for many of the other games, and well, I'll see you guys on the Overwatch next week, and you'll probably see Ocean around the circuit for some of the other games. Folks, hope you have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you around.